So let's start this sandwich. You've got pears here.
Yep.
And you're gonna caramelize them?
Exactly. So what I do with pears, quarter them, cut the core out, just make it easy on yourself. These cannot really be done ahead, just because you don't want them browning. And yeah, anyway, and then we're gonna toss them in sugar just before we put them on a super hot skillet or grill. So we've got this grill smoking.
So the sugar is going to help them caramelize, right?
Exactly. So the sugar is going to get a little bit black is what you actually want. So you get that really great caramel flavor.
So you've got your grill pan on super screaming hot.
Super screaming hot, and then nothing else but sugar.
So no butter, no
nothing.
oil. Okay.
Nothing.
And you're just going to let them, do they have to be soft, or are you just cooking them until they're...
you're just cooking them. Basically, you want to get kind of a sear on them, get the sugar golden and brown, and you're just drawing out some of the juice, giving them a bit of bittersweet is the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm mixing together here some mayo and some Dijon mustard.
Yep. This can be a pantry essential too. I mean, you can mix it. It takes 2 seconds.
So you can do this
keep it in the fridge. You got it.
Yeah.
That can be ahead. Obviously, you can just buy ham. The croissant you can buy either frozen or you can buy fresh, whichever you need.
Yeah.
And if it's Christmas Day, probably buy the frozen and you just proof them overnight and bake them in your own oven.
Right.
And you have a better result anyway with that.
But if you aren't a person who knows how to get...
Then just buy them and freeze them and throw them in the oven.
all day and you're exhausted. Okay, so I'm going to start assembling. What kind of ham do we have?
This is Westphalian ham.
Okay.
But any kind of cured smoked ham is really good. You want a bit of a smoky flavor.
Anything delicious and hammy.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the croissant. Now you want me to cut. You told me you don't want me to cut.
The way I like to cut these is not all the way through. I like to cut them about 3/4 the way through. And then you have this wicked open wedge that you just stuff full of goodness. And yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so just cut.
Exactly, that's far enough.
And so I have a little book spine, right?
Exactly, and then you just stuff it full of beauty.
Okay, so I'm going to start slather, like a good amount of
the more
mayo.
the better.
And then I've got all these little croissanty, buttery business in here that's going to soak all that up.
Exactly.
That is amazing.
So that whole mix of, cheese and ham and pear and buttery croissant and mayo, it's just
everything delicious in a sandwich. You could do regular bread with this sandwich if you wanted to make, no.
You could. Yeah. As a lunch option, certainly, if you're going to do a breakfast sandwich.
If you had leftovers of all this stuff.
Yeah. You totally could.
But for Christmas morning.
Christmas, we're going all out.
We're going butter, flour, ham, cheese. Don't mess with it.
Exactly. So the pears are coming along really nicely on this grill. You can also use a cast iron pan, or you could probably use a non-stick pan too, but this one's actually really, really nice. There's not a heck of a lot of smoke coming off of it, which is good. And it looks like it's going to be really easy to clean, which is also key. But you're getting
especially
nice
when you're
heat.
Dealing with sugar. Yeah.
So look at the marks. It's looking really, really good.
Which is going to add to the visual of the sandwich, right?
Exactly. So yeah, these ones are getting really close. You can probably take them off in a second.
That looks like holiday. It does. It looks like holiday,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's fancy schmancy.
It's candied fruit and
Exactly, fancy schmancy sandwich in the morning. So we can probably start adding in some of the other stuff.
Is there an order you'd like me to do this in? This is your sandwich.
All right, I think start with the arugula. We use arugula because it's just kind of a different flavor in there. So spinach would taste fine.
Yeah.
But the arugula, we already have spinach in the cookut.
Yeah.
And arugula has that nice peppery bite, which kind of goes against and with the cheese and the ham and the butteriness of everything
else.
else.
You've got peppery, and then you've got sweet, and then you've got sort of savory,
and then you have
smokiness.
Creamy and exactly.
And then the Dijon is kind of got some kick as well. Okay, so lots or just sort of
That's
some?
probably good.
Okay.
And then you want to save the room for the other deliciousness, which is the cheese and the meat.
Okay, so we've got the cheese, the Gruyere.
Yep. And you can just a grater is fine, but this looks a little bit nicer. I think having a peeler is great.
Yeah.
It gets it really thin.
But you could peel this cheese ahead of time the night before.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. So you can definitely do the Dijon mayo ahead. You can have the cheese ready and just in a sealed container. The ham you just buy sliced.
Right.
The pears I don't, again, advocate doing ahead.
So you have one thing to do that morning. It's easy to do while you're brewing coffee.
2-3 pears, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then assembling them is 2 seconds. And if you have a friend who likes to hang out and have mimosas in the kitchen with you first thing, then you can get them on the assembling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to cut these a little bit finer.
So they fit on the croissant?
Exactly.
Okay, so I've got the cheese. Next comes the ham?
Yep.
And then we put the pears on at the very end?
Yep, we can do exactly.
Okay.
So here.
So you do that.
And I like to kind of jam it in so it just looks, again, really pretty lush. And
so you basically want to have a two-hander. That's what we're going for here.
Even though they're really small croissants, you really want them to be kind of big and luscious. And I'm going to do one more in there.
Nice.
Okay.
Can I put the pears in?
Yeah, please put the pears in.
Okay, so you want them just laid in So you can see them, obviously.
Yeah, just lay in as best as you can.
Would you say that's kind of another visual trick for a sandwich? You should see what's in it?
I like that, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially something like this when you're gonna put them on a big platter
Oh,
out there on the table.
Lanta, check that out. For more tips and recipes, visit us at foodies.ca.